Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to our Open Finance presentations for today. I'm delighted to have three eminently well-learned guests going to speak on the topics for today. And up first is going to be Sergio Segura from Salesforce, and I'm going to hand over to Sergio and allow him to present himself and his company and in relation to the Open Finance topic of today. Sergio.
Sure. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Ray. Hi, everyone. My name is Sergio Segura. I work as Financial Services Industry Director at Salesforce. And as you know, at Salesforce, we are working together with our trailblazers and community to create positive change in the world and transform careers and companies. Today, I'm going to spend the next around 10 minutes introducing the company I work for, myself, and why we are here. But let me first start saying thank you. I understand it may be a tough period for many businesses right now, so I really want to thank you for your time, the time that you're spending today with us, because your success is a top priority for us, and we are here to help you and your company find success with Salesforce. In finding that success and behind our success and our communities is a set of core values that we live by every day. These are our guiding principles that are part of the core of our company, and every employee need and have to understand them and abide by. Let's begin with our number one value. It's trust. To us, nothing is more important than the trust that we have with our customers. This includes not only trust in our technology and infrastructure, but the trust in the relationship and transparency in how we communicate with our customers. Second is customer success. We know that our success and our customer success are mutually dependent. We succeed when our customers succeed, and we have built a company around delivering customer success. The third one is innovation, because innovation is happening faster than ever before in the fourth industrial revolution we are in right now. It is our goal to incorporate the latest innovation into our products 3 times a year, so our customers can automatically access the latest technology, allowing them to innovate, build, and stay ahead in their industries. And finally, equality is a core tenet to how we run our business. We know that equality and diversity make us a better company. These values are the foundation of Salesforce, and they've inspired us to provide and to improve the world around us. Our core values have helped us and our trailblazers community become a leader in philanthropy, in culture, and in innovation. We are one of the world's most innovative companies, according to Forbes. We are number one in People's Top 50 companies that care, and are now on the Fortune's Change the World list. And values create value. Our values helped drive our revenue number to $17.1 billion in fiscal year 20. And that's because our customers have succeeded with us. Together with our employees, partners, and customers, we've been able to do well while still staying true to the core values we have had since day one. So that's the company I work for. But who am I? I've been working in this industry, financial services, for the last 26 years, more or less. Of those 26 years, the last 3 years, I've been working for Salesforce. Before that, I was working for different technology companies like Microsoft, Information Builders, or even banks like Bank Inter, basically focused on retail banking and insurance. The area I cover is the south of Europe, Middle East, Africa, and Latin America. And when I'm not working, I enjoy spending time with my family, reading good books, some of them about technology, traveling, and also doing a lot of different sports. Why are we here? Well, we are here basically because we see how things are changing, how customer behavior is changing. Even before the pandemic that we have now, the business model were shifting towards a digital model. Now, after the pandemic, we have seen companies like Adidas, which needed to change completely their selling model. They had all the stores closed and needed to shift all their sales to e-commerce. And we see also other innovative companies like Starbucks that decided to still deliver a physical experience to their customers by providing them the ability to order their drinks in the mobile application and pick them up directly outside the store without contacting anybody, all contactless. Many companies have successfully adapted to our new situation by shifting the digital models, but as we enter the next phases, companies are being faced with new challenges, making this digital transformation even more imperative than ever. Because the future will be owned by companies which will own the customer experience. Those companies that will create the next generation of experiences across the customer needs. Because at the end, customers doesn't want to purchase a specific financial product. They have needs and they want to fulfill those needs. They want to purchase a new house and move to the house of their dreams, or they want to grow their family and have babies, and they have needs, different needs that in some cases could be fulfilled by specific financial products plus other service and non-financial products. That's the reason why we build a platform. We call it a platform. We don't talk about CRM anymore. We call the Salesforce Customer 360 platform that provides our customers with the ability to shift to digital and to put the customer at the center of everything that they do. It's the ability to aggregate all the information about the customer, everything that has to do with the different interactions that they are having across any channel and how they are using the different financial products that they have, in order to have not only information about the customer, but also about the context of the customer, to provide them with the right advice, the right information, or the right product at the right time. It's based on the platform, a set of different solutions that provides the security that they need and the experiences that they are looking for to help them fulfill the needs that they have. So this is what we offer. This is how we are helping customers to transform their business model. And this is what we will be talking about during the rest of the session. So back to you, Ray. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Sergio. Very, very interesting presentation from Salesforce, and it does give us I suppose shines the lens on the fact that the digital transformation has been accelerated due to COVID-19, and all of us have had to modify our ways of operating our business streams to catch up with the technologies as they have evolved. My next guest is going to give a talk on the financial markets and for open finance is Alonso Santiago, who's the Chief Executive Officer of Bamboo Mobile. And Alonso is going to introduce himself and the work that's going on from Bamboo. Over to you, Alonso.
Okay, thanks, Ray. Can you see my screen
we can
now?
see it, Alonso. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Ray. I'm so happy to be here in this panel with you, Adrian, Sergio, and thanks to Open Finance and all the audience. I hope to share some valuable content to all of you. I'm Alonso, and I'm so passionate about technology. And I have more than 10 years developing digital projects for different companies. Now I'm the CEO of Bamboo Mobile, and Bamboo Mobile is a really innovative company. We are focused on developing innovative and transformation custom projects for different industries, working with technologies like web, mobile, IoT, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, and some projects with blockchain. You can see in my screen that the two types of projects that we are focused are on digital transformation and technology-based business models. Web development, when we develop a project, we mix those services. For example, we can mix web development with blockchain or with e-commerce, robotic process automation. And I want to show you some of our business cases. For example, we work with Office Depot, and here we implement different type of technologies like mobile commerce, UX research. We work with La Europea, ETN. Those are some of the biggest companies here in Mexico, and we work with them developing this type of projects, transformation projects. Transportes Castores, Al Super, GNP. The thing is that here in Bamboo Mobile, we try to give the clients the most valuable technology to solve some problems. That's all, right? We have a lot of projects, but I want to share with you more in the next steps of the panel.
Thank you very much. That was an excellent overview, and hopefully we get into the depth of Bamboo Mobile as we get into the Q&A session later on. Thanks, Alonso. Okay. Next up, we have Adrian. Adrian Sanchez is the Director of Financial Crime and Compliance, Latin America and Caribbean for LexisNexis Risk Solutions. And Adrian is going to present his slides and introduce himself and his company and what their business is doing. Over to you, Adrian.
Thank you. Thank you, Ryan.
You can see your slides perfectly.
I don't know if you can see my screen. Perfect. Thank you very much. And thank you. First, thank you to Open Finance for the invitation. I'm really glad to be here talking about technology, and particularly around the newest technologies, the more elaborate technologies that are helping solve many different problems. And we'll talk about more in detail around that in the next few minutes. But I wanted to first start with an introduction of LexisNexis Risk Solutions. But before I move into what is LexisNexis Risk Solutions, I would like to give you a quick background of who I am and what I do. I've been working with financial institutions in Mexico for a little bit over 15 years, mostly in risk management areas or departments, mostly working to prevent fraud, prevent money laundering, to prevent financial crimes overall. And I've been working with LexisNexis Risk Solutions for a little more than 4 years now. And LexisNexis Risk Solutions is basically a technology company, but that owns a large data sets. These data sets that we manage are from very different types of data, from very different countries. We have an enormous amount of data resources that we use, but we leverage those with our own technology. In LexisNexis Risk Solutions, we own our own unique big data technology that we call HPCC. You may have heard of it before, but we use that technology to process all this information that we own, that we've been gathering for many years, to make sure that our customers get intelligence out of those data resources, and that they can have a better, more broader, holistic view of their customers and the entities they work with, to make sure that they can mitigate risks. In particular, I lead our financial crime compliance portfolio, and I focus our solutions on how to prevent risk of many different kinds, but in particular in the know your customer space. And this means knowing who you are interacting with, who you're doing business with, what kind of additional information you can get out of these entities that you're doing business with. And when it comes to knowing your customers, your business counterparts, technology helps a lot, because as you know, you can be looking at different sources of information, and going through them without technology could be quite complicated. So we do a lot of linking, we do a lot of analytics that we embed in our products. But basically what we do is we collect a lot of information. We collect a lot of structure, unstructured, or even semi-structured data that then we ingest using our technology. We cleanse it, we link it, we integrate it, and then we analyze it to make sure we can present an overall picture that represents a high value of insightful information that then our customers use to make sure that they are mitigating all kinds of risk. We have different products. Some of them will fit more into the identity management space, especially now with the migration to the digital channels, and I think we'll talk more about that later on. But we have that. We also have compliance-related products, especially for KYC, and we also have some tools that help with investigation processes. So when we talk about our customers, a large part of our customers is financial type of customers, although we do serve a lot of non-financial corporate type of customers. But we serve more than 100 customers, more than 100 countries. We have customers. We have 7 of the world's top 10 banks. We have the 100% of the top 50 US banks and 78% of the Fortune 500 companies. So as you can see, we have a wide range of different type of customers that leverage our technology and our data resources to make sure that they have better insights and better intelligence to make informed decisions. That's all I have for the introduction. Ray, back to you.
Thanks very much, Adrian. That was brilliant, and it's good to get an overview of what LexisNexis are doing at the moment. And yeah, just to set the scene, because I'm going to have a quick Q&A session with you guys while we have your expertise here trapped at the Open Finance event. We won't let you go without teasing out some key issues, because we know that AI and big data are disruptive forces, and they're having an effect on not just on business in general, but in this particular environment that we're living in with COVID-19. We've got remote working tools, and we have a lot of customer-facing challenges and opportunities and customer data issues. So with that in mind, we'll do a bit of a tour around and ask some questions to tease out some of these things. And maybe, Sergio, because you were the first to talk, and based on your expertise and Salesforce expertise, maybe you could talk to us about maybe some of the challenges that financial institutions are facing regarding customer expectations.
Sure, right. And in fact, if we think in which the main challenge is customers have got today, or financial institutions have got today, regarding customer expectation, it is how to respond to that changing customer expectation that we are seeing. Customers are becoming more and more digital, and the COVID-19 pandemic has exacerbated such a trend even more. Customers want to be seen as persons with needs, concerns, wishes, and expect financial institutions to have a positive impact on their lives. It's changing completely. It's not about money management, it's about life events. Based on a recent Accenture report, 79% of customers consider the experience that they get from the company as important as the product or the service that they are purchasing. So today, the best experience that a customer is having is what it uses, is the new standard to measure the experience that they are receiving from any company. So banks need to move in that way. Customers are getting used to the kind of experience that they are having with big tech companies like Amazon, Google, or Facebook, and companies these companies have been investing in big data and artificial intelligence for years. They understand how they interact with their contents, how many products they are looking at, how long they have been looking at a specific product, the navigation journey they are following, a lot of information that they analyze to have a comprehensive customer profile that will help them to provide relevant content and to be relevant throughout the whole customer journey. Because customer knowledge enables them to personalize the experience that they are having, and personalization pays dividends. In fact, if we look at Amazon, the product recommendations are set to generate an additional 10 to 30% in revenue. So it's a huge amount of money that they get from personalization. So the main challenge financial institutions have is to understand each customer as a segment of one, a unique person whose environment, lifestyle, personality, preferences, needs and wants are different and evolve with time, in order to provide them with the right information, the right advice, or the right product that will improve her financial well-being and will help her, in this case, to fulfill her goals. And to do that, they need first to leverage the rich and huge amount of data that they have about their customers, then combine it with a contextual information that's coming from how they navigate, how they use the products and services that they have purchased, their behavior, interactions, preferences, interest, shopping, and other third-party data that they could bring from their partners to identify the specific customer insights that will trigger relevant interactions. It's about providing value to the customer to increase relevancy in a world in which companies are competing with each other for the customer attention.
Very good, Sergio. Thanks very much. And that's very good, because I mean it actually epitomizes like the customer facing aspect of us, because sometimes like with companies we're more on the project end and we're looking at the deliverables and the technologies and the algorithms that are required, and not so much looking at it from the customer facing end. But to look at the other side of the coin then, Alonso, you were second up in terms of talking about Bamboo Mobile, and you might look at it from the company's perspective, because obviously it's very important with these emerging technologies to engage with those project technologies and to try and bring in the AI and the big data expertise into your company and to do projects in those areas. So would you say that is important in the evolution of Bamboo Mobile?
Yeah. I think, thanks, Ray. I think that AI and a digital ecosystem is so important for all the companies. Artificial intelligence undoubtedly becoming a necessity in the implementation of any technology project. I think that in the next years, the AI will become a commodity in the companies. It's also important, right, to evangelize the organization in what any artificial intelligence algorithm is and how it works, because a lot of people doesn't understand what is the artificial intelligence. Since this will allow the organization and to get an organic adaptation to the use of these technological tools. That is why companies at first should think about creating and maintaining digital ecosystems in their organizations to have control of the data. Because if the company doesn't have the control of the data, it's practically impossible to implement an AI solution. But if the company collects all the data, treats the data, creates correct data lakes, then it will allow them to implement AI projects that will make the company be more efficient and effective. And as Sergio said before, now the customers, they are giving the data. They are not anger. And you get the data for them. That's why we think that all the companies have to become to digital ecosystems in their organizations.
Excellent. Thanks very much. I mean, so we have that sort of ties together both sides of the coin then. So we have the customer-facing aspect of it, and then the companies having to evolve and to move with the times, move with the evolving ecosystems, whether that's a big data digital ecosystem or an artificial intelligence ecosystem. But there are other problems, unfortunately, and this is going to bring Adrian in on this, because I mean, from my background, like where I work in Dublin City University in a research centre, we are looking at all sorts of problems from an academic perspective. So looking at the research behind the evolution of big data technologies and artificial intelligence technology. And it's not all rosy. So unfortunately, sometimes we have problems. And Adrian, I want to bring you in on sort of the use of some of this AI and how it can be used, for example, to help fight financial crimes, because we're going to have situations where it's not always just a good customer dealing with a good product which is developed by a good company. Sometimes we have people who are trying to manipulate the system, and we end up with a financial fraud or aspect of that. So that's your background, Adrian. Do you want to just pick that up?
Of course. Thank you, Ray. I think this is very important because, as we've seen, and especially the last year, the migration to the digital channels has presented some challenges, not only for financial institutions, for other institutions that are now offering services through digital channels. And they want to understand who they are doing business with, if those persons or entities are abusing their businesses to, I don't know, launder money or commit fraud that could turn out into losses. But at the end of the day, I think we need to take a step back and think of I mean, the technology is helpful, is really helpful in many cases, but it is not that helpful if you don't have the right data, right? So you have to have the right data sources, you have to have the right approach to collect those data sources, make sure they have the right structure, make sure that they are usable to then gather more intelligence. And then that is when I think this AI, machine learning technologies come into play, because they help you with the process of that information, make you automatize processes and make you more efficient at the end of the day. We have many challenges when it comes to the fighting financial crimes, and especially in the financial sector, we come for many years from a perspective to do things more manually, to throw more people into alert remediation, for instance, and there's a lot of people doing investigations, and that could be enhanced if we insert a technology element. It could be either machine learning, it could be big data analysis to make sure that you are seeing the whole picture. And this has some other repercussions besides fighting financial crimes, because when you have more information, when you have a better and more holistic view of your customers, then you can even help in things like financial inclusion. Because at the end of the day, many of the compliance-related processes are closing doors for people to the financial services because you don't have enough information to, I don't know, open an account or give certain financial product to a certain person. And then having more information by the hand of new technologies, I think that is very relevant and very helpful. That is something that is coming. I don't think we are very advanced, at least not in the financial space, especially in Latin America. But we have made really good progress, and I think this is the future, no matter what.
Thanks very much, Adrian. I think that's very interesting. I think that's also a very big topic, a very big area. And we might come back to that actually in a second. But before that, just because we just touched on some of the customer-facing aspects of it, and I want to cycle back now to Sergio again and give him an opportunity maybe to talk about, financial services customers themselves and what opportunities they may be seeing at the moment. So what are they looking for?
Well, in fact, the main opportunity is to become a financial partner to the customer. That's what they are looking for. They want to provide the right solution, the right advice at the right time to help them make the best decision, the best financial decision based on that information. It is to improve the customer loyalty, to retain and grow the customer base and increase the business. That's what they are looking for, and that's the opportunity that they see. Because if, for instance, we look at the insurance market and we think in the switching economy that we have there, the number of people that's changing from switching from one carrier to another, we are talking about $400 billion US. And 80% of these switching customers do so because they want to get a more personalized experience elsewhere. So it's about understanding the customer and leveraging that opportunity. Financial institutions need to leverage artificial intelligence and big data to, in real time, orchestrate the customer interactions across digital and physical channels, to build an accurate approach to the customer lifecycle management and engage customers at their points of life. That means those moments in the life of the customer that are important to them, with the relevant offer or the relevant advice. Therefore, the main goal of the financial institution is to proactively deliver ongoing value to each customer point of life, time after time, throughout their whole relationship. It is identifying their moments of truth and delivering the right action at the right time to the right customer, because as Ernst & Young found, 70% of the moments of truth interactions result in positive outcomes. So financial institutions, as any other company, as I mentioned it before, are now competing for the customer attention. Everybody's competing for the customer attention. Consumers are using the mobile applications, the mobile phone, and we need to provide them with the right content in order to attract them. And the financial institutions' competitors are not in the same industry anymore. We are seeing Amazon and Google providing loans, providing payment solutions, and even insurance policies to car insurance. So competing directly with financial institutions. Relevancy is directly linked to helping customers fulfill their needs and their goals. And in helping them achieving their goals, the financial products are just a small piece of the whole solution. So customers are demanding comprehensive solutions that will provide them with the convenience that they are looking for when dealing with fragmented markets like the housing market or education or health. And that's the reason why we see a lot of new financial institutions, or banks, focusing on building ecosystems to provide convenience to their customers by guiding them throughout their points of life and offering a comprehensive solution that will bundle together financial and non-financial products with additional services. So the opportunity is huge, but the time to act is now, because today the most important factor to have accurate predictions is not having great data scientists, but having huge amount of data to analyze. So in the new world of the AI and big data, the winner takes it all, because those financial institutions which will move first will acquire more customers and will collect more customer data. The more customer data they will have, the better the recommendations they will provide to their customers and prospects, improving the customer loyalty and increasing the number of customers that they are acquiring reducing even more the ability of their competitors to really compete with them. So that's the opportunity, gathering as much information as we could about the customer to understand them and to provide them with the right advice, the right information, or the right product at the right time.
Excellent, Sergio. Yeah, so it's the opportunity is there. So it's about the financial services sector and the banking sector engaging with the technologies to provide these better services, these better tools, technologies, services, products to the customers. And so we need to obviously to use these technologies, the AI and the big data technologies in our projects, to make those better services. So if we were to take up that point then, Alonso, yourself, and in terms of Bamboo, so actually two questions in one maybe, in terms of AI and banking and what your company would be providing in terms of projects, but also the implementation of AI projects. So what I suppose tips would you give to the audience in terms of best practice for trying to develop AI projects in the financial services sector and in the banking sector?
Okay, it's a really good question, right? But Bamboo is a technology development and integration company with extensive experience in different digital projects. One of our business units is innovation and transformation, for which AI is undoubtedly within our portfolio of services. We started exploring and implementing AI projects about 2 years ago, and I have seen it grow exponentially. And this growth is because the companies are understanding, and not only the banking companies, all the companies are understanding that they have to be digital, and we're starting to getting all the data. For example, we are currently implementing AI solution in a bank for predict theft, assault, and threat, because not only the artificial intelligence applies on digital projects or online projects, it also applies on physical offline things like a bank ATM. As an example, we are trying and we are implementing this AI model for more than 1,400 bank branches and more than 2,000 ATMs here in Mexico. And this happened through the historic data collect, the data mining, and the implement of different math models to get AI that fits better to predict these threat events for the bank. For this example, we adopt innovative for banks, smart cities, and for the safety of the population. Imagine that we can know, and now we have, for example, like 80% of accuracy, we can know when and where a theft will go to make a rob in a bank or to an ATM. No, that's really cool, and we are making something like that. And in order to e-commerce, for example, we try some machine learning models to understand the user and deliver recommendations based on what he's searching. And this applies on retail and it applies on bank. No, for example, on bank, you can recommend the user getting a credit for $100, or if it's a different customer, you can promote or recommend him a credit of $100,000, no, for example. And you can understand that with all the data that you collect before, and with all the models that you will start implementing in your company, no. And I think that's about what we are doing. And what recommendations can we give to the audience, right? I think that at first, the companies have to understand that this technology is in the commercial hype, from one way, and there are a lot of magical solutions in the market now that claim to be the AI solutions, but really not. And you could be spending important amounts of money, and maybe that couldn't give you a real solution. That's why I said before that the company at first has to build a digital ecosystem, then understand deeply the problem and propose a proof of hypothetical solutions to make sure that the problem posed is a real problem and could be fixed with machine learning or artificial intelligence solutions. No, And in matter of ordering, first we have to understand the concepts. No? The company and all the employees of the company have to understand all the concepts, even in high level, like data mining. No? A brief of data mining is, it will help you to understand what's happening in your data, because you start to collect all the data, but then you have to understand what's happening on that data. No? Then you can apply some machine learning. That machine learning is a branch of artificial intelligence, and it helps to view behavior patterns and make assumptions cyclically. And artificial intelligence solutions principle help you to predict stuff. No, if you want to predict something, you can think on artificial intelligence or network. There are too many models. You can go from linear regressions, and you can go for a very complex mathematical models. And you can start making internal tests with a data science professionals, or with a company like the companies that now we are here, no? Like Sergio with their solutions, and with Adrian too.
Okay. Yes, excellent. And I like the way you link that together, because there's a thread that's going through a lot of the work that you're carrying out, but Sergio through Salesforce and yourself through Bamboo, but also Adrian, because he started it just with the first round of questioning in relation to a lot of the work we're doing is like defensive programming with AI, because of the security requirement of the financial and services sector and the banking sectors. So we need to have very high standards, and that's an area that I work in myself. So we're looking at standardization, like through the International Standards Organization, IEC, the Joint Technical Committee between those two large organizations. They bring out standards in relation to artificial intelligence and big data under the Standards Committee 42 in ISO. And also there's work happening all over the world in relation to standardization of these technologies. So we'd have emerging technologies been standardized by IEEE and by the World Economic Forum, by the European Commission, etc. They're through ETSI and Senelec. But you can't just have sort of standards. You need to also have compliance. So there's levels here that require standardization and certification and regulation and legislation, and we need compliance. And I want to pick up the compliance thing with Adrian. So is it possible then for like machine learning and AI, as Sergio has mentioned, and also Alonso has mentioned, to be used in compliance, like, for the likes of these breaches, these theft, these frauds, the anti-money laundering, etc. Adrian.
Yes, I think it's definitely something that needs to be leveraged more. I think it's being used not as much as it should be, but I see two main challenges with AI or machine learning being applied to compliance-related processes like anti-money laundering. The first one, in my opinion, is the lack of understanding for regulatory bodies in regards to this type of technologies and the results they may have. Because one of the areas where this could be applied is in false positive reduction, especially when you're screening large amount of customers and you're generating a large amount of alerts. These type of technologies could help you reduce significantly those amounts of alerts. And right now, most of the institutions that are using this, leveraging this type of technology, they're going with a supervised model, but you can use a non-supervised model where the machines will be making decisions. Even though we know that may bring beneficial results, right now there's not enough understanding from the regulatory side, the regulatory bodies, to make sure that they allow companies or financial institutions to fully implement this type of solutions, mainly because you have two sides of the coin, right? You will be reducing false positive, but at the end of the day, you could be leaving some false negatives on the table, right? So there's in this type of environment, the risk is kind of high. So there's a trade-off between reducing, being more efficient with alerts, and then not seeing something that is really risky. So that is where we are trying to help our customers, trying to help them understand the benefits of using this type of technologies and how they could apply to processes like fighting money laundering overall.
Very, very good. Look, guys, we could probably talk about this for hours. Particularly from my perspective, I just love the technology and where we're going. The acceleration of the digital transformation, and the work that's ongoing currently, even within the standardization sector, where with big data, machine learning, artificial intelligence through ISO. The AI white paper the European Commission just brought down, the data strategy. We're working on a national AI strategy ourselves in Ireland, establishing data governance research centres, etc. So in terms of the activity that's going on at the moment, it's brilliant, but we won't have we don't really have much time to discuss it. We're running out of time, but I will, before I wrap up, I will go around on everybody, starting with going back to Sergio again, for a takeaway. So if there was one thing you wanted to sell to the audience and say, like, just as a takeaway topic to go away and think about, what would that be? So starting with Sergio and then going to Alonso and then wrapping up with Adrian. What's your takeaway thought for Open Finance 2020 in terms of financial services and AI and big data? Sergio.
I think that, yeah, my takeaway is perhaps the last sentence I said at the end of the last question. The time is now, and the winner takes it all. I mean, we are talking about aggregating and gathering as much information, as much data from our customers as we could in order to provide accurate predictions of what customers will want and what customers will have, and what kind of solutions we could provide them with to fulfill their goals and needs in the future. Those financial institutions who will be slow in implementing big data and artificial intelligence won't be able to compete with the rest of the financial institutions. So the opportunity is huge, the time is now.
Thank you, Sergio. Alonso, your takeaway.
Thanks. Okay, I think that the best recommendation that I can give to the audience is don't be afraid and start testing pilot projects in different areas of the company. Today, technology applies not only for an area like systems. The technology is transversal, goes from the operations and to commercial stuff to the customer. That's why the thing is that all the company have to start now to test some pilot projects.
Excellent, thanks, Alonso. And Adrian, your takeaway for the audience.
Yes, I think my takeaway is similar to what Sergio was saying. The time is now, but the time is now to use technologies, to leverage this type of new technologies, but also to work together. When it comes to financial crimes and the fight against financial crimes, the more information you have, the more you work together with other counterparties like other financial institutions or even non-financial institutions to come up with this ecosystem that I think Alonso mentioned before, where everybody can leverage their information, their data, and it can be processed through the use of this type of technologies. And then you can get a lot more intelligence. And this applies not only to financial crimes, I think it applies to several different other use cases. But at the end of the day, the big message, I think, or my takeaway is that we need to leverage technologies, but we also need to work together.
Absolutely, I would echo that. And just as a wrap up for myself, I would say that data is king, and that ICT, for example, the ecosystem of ICT, the massive digital ecosystem, is actually an ecosystem of ecosystems. We have the big data ecosystem, we have the artificial intelligence ecosystem. We also have smart cities, we also have 5G, we have IoT, we have green computing, we have quantum computing, we have edge computing, and we have all of these other emerging technologies which have their own ecosystems, and they all are overlapping so that the edges are no longer clear. And collaboration at those edges, it can provide unique opportunities for new revenue streams, for new businesses, etc. And it gives opportunities for the financial services sector and the banking sector to build on those, on IoT, edge computing, AI, and big data to provide the services of tomorrow, to provide the next generation of financial services. So without any further ado, I want to thank my guests on the experts on the Open Finance 2020 stage. To Sergio Segura, who Financial Services Director EMEA for Salesforce Industry. Thank you very much, Sergio. Thank you to Alonso Santiago, CEO of Bamboo Mobile. And thank you to Adrian Sanchez, Director of Financial Crime Compliance Latin America, Caribbean for LexisNexis Risk Solutions. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time, for your expertise, and for joining us on the stage. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, to all.